I know how it sounds, but I swear to you, I never believed in ghosts until I moved into that apartment. It was a mid-rise building in Queens. I had just landed a job in Manhattan and needed something affordable but safe. 6C was older, sure, but it had charm. Crown molding, hardwood floors, even a little fire escape I could sit on with a drink. The landlord was an older guy named Manny, super hands-off, barely spoke. He gave me the keys, told me to text if the heater ever cut out, and that was that. The first night I moved in, I barely noticed anything odd. Maybe a few creaks here and there, but it was an old building. I figured it came with the territory. But the second night, I started hearing the knocks. They started at exactly 3:12 a.m. 3 soft knocks, coming from the other side of my bedroom wall, the wall that connected to the empty unit next door. 6B was vacant. Manny told me that himself. I laid there, frozen. The knocks didn't repeat. Just those 3. I told myself maybe it was the pipes. The next night, same time, same number of knocks. I checked my phone, 3:12 a.m. exactly, and they were louder this time, almost deliberate. I texted Manny asking if someone had moved into 6B. He replied 5 minutes later, still vacant. Hasn't been shown in weeks. I didn't sleep much that night. The third night, things got worse. I was in bed, scrolling my phone when the temperature in the room suddenly dropped. I'm talking freezing. I checked the heater, it was on full blast, but my breath was fogging up in the air. I heard the same 3 knocks again, this time from the closet door. Not the wall, the closet. I grabbed my phone, heart pounding, and walked over. I didn't want to open it, but I had to. I flung the door open, and nothing. Just coats and my laundry basket. I didn't even bother sleeping that night. I stayed up on my fire escape until the sun came up. By the next evening, I was already thinking of breaking the lease. But curiosity got the better of me. I went downstairs and talked to the super, this old woman named Doreen. I casually asked about the history of 6C. She gave me this weird look and said, "You in 6C? Thought they stopped renting that unit out." I told her Manny had offered it to me directly. Her face went pale. She hesitated, then told me this story in a low whisper about a woman named Linda who lived in my unit 10 years ago. She was in her 40s, lived alone, kept to herself. One day, her neighbors noticed a smell. Cops were called. They found her in the closet, dead. Apparently, she'd overdosed, but what disturbed people wasn't how she died. It was what she left behind. Dozens of journals, all with the same phrase written over and over. "The woman in the wall watches me sleep." I could barely breathe. I asked if I could see the journals. Doreen just shook her head. "No one ever kept them. Landlord tossed all that stuff." That night, I slept with every light on. I thought maybe I was psyching myself out, letting the story get to me, until the closet door opened on its own. It creaked, slowly, like someone pushing it with their fingertip, and then I saw her. Just for a second, a pale woman, long dark hair, eyes wide, standing in the corner of the closet. And then, gone. I screamed. I actually ran into the hallway in nothing but a t-shirt and socks. A neighbor poked her head out, startled. When I told her what I saw, she nodded. Not surprised. "Yeah," she said, "that's Linda." I moved out 2 days later, didn't even wait for the lease to end. I left the furniture behind, slept on a friend's couch for a month, and ate the security deposit. I couldn't stay there. To this day, I still wake up around 3:12 a.m. for no reason, and every time I swear I hear it. 3 knocks. I used to work for a rural property inspection company out in Nebraska. My job was simple: drive out to abandoned or foreclosed homes, snap photos, assess damage, and make sure nobody was squatting there. Most of it was boring, honestly. Long drives, dusty roads, same rusted mailboxes and overgrown lawns. But one assignment still haunts me to this day. It was late October. I had to check out a property that had been vacant for years. Old farmhouse, supposedly inherited by someone in Florida who never came to claim it. It was in the middle of nowhere, 30 minutes off the highway, down this winding dirt road surrounded by dead cornfields. I arrived just before dusk. The sky had that soft orange hue, and the wind was sharp enough to sting. I pulled up to the property. The house was in rough shape. Collapsing porch, boarded windows, the kind of place you swear you've seen in a horror movie. I stepped out, phone in hand, to take photos, and noticed something odd right away. There was a path, bare, like something had been walked over again and again, leading from the back porch into the field. Straight out into the corn. I thought it might be a deer trail or something, but it looked too clean, too straight. I took my exterior shots and debated whether to enter the house. I had a key that the office mailed me, but the door was slightly open. That was the first red flag. I announced myself, standard protocol. "Hello, property inspection, just here to take photos." No answer. I stepped in cautiously. It was colder inside than out. Dust coated everything. Furniture still there, couches, a rocking chair, even a plate of fake plastic fruit on the table. But there were signs someone had been inside. A boot print on the floor, a candle that looked recently burned. I snapped my pics and turned to leave when I heard it. A girl humming, very soft, very faint, coming from the upstairs hallway. I froze. I called out again. "Hello, is someone here?" My voice cracked mid-sentence. The humming stopped. Then I heard creaking, footsteps, not fast or aggressive, just slow, deliberate. I didn't stick around to find out more. I backed out the front door, heart pounding, and practically ran back to my car. That's when I saw her, standing in the middle of the field, right where that bare path led. A girl, wearing a light dress, white or maybe pale blue, hard to tell in the light, long dark hair, just standing there, perfectly still. I blinked. She was gone. Just gone. I got in my car and started the engine, hands shaking. I looked back one more time. Still nothing. That night, I emailed my supervisor, told him the house had signs of break-in, possibly occupied. He told me to return the next morning with someone else. So I did. I brought my buddy Luke, big guy, used to be military. He agreed to tag along. When we arrived the next morning, that path into the field was still there. Even clearer now. We checked the house together. This time, the door was shut. Locked. No boot prints. The candle was gone. But the air, still freezing. Luke didn't see anything out of place, thought I was overreacting. Until we found the attic. There was no ladder, but you could see the hatch in the ceiling. Luke boosted me up and I popped it open. That's when the smell hit me. Rot. Moldavian something wet. I climbed up and saw it, a child's mattress. Torn, yellowed. Surrounding it were dozens of small shoes, all girls' shoes. And drawn on the wall in what looked like charcoal was a crude picture. A girl standing in a field, eyes blacked out. I got down fast and told Luke we were leaving. No arguments. Back at the car, I looked out one last time across that field, and there she was again. Closer now. I snapped a photo as fast as I could and floored it out of there. When I checked my phone later, nothing. Just an empty field. No girl, no shadow. Not even a blur. I never went back to that property. Told my boss I quit that route. Luke agreed. Said he didn't see her, but the attic shook him. Said something felt wrong in the bones. 3 months later, that house caught fire. No one knows how. Completely gutted. The field path? Still there. To this day, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night to humming. Software delicate, and my window fogged from the outside. This happened in 2019, when I was in my last year of college. I was living alone for the first time in a studio apartment just off campus, in a quiet part of town. It was an old converted building,
Used to be a hotel or something in the 40s, so the rooms were kind of quirky. My unit was small but cozy. One big room, tiny kitchenette, and a bathroom tucked away in the back with one of those thick wooden doors that never shut right. It was around midterms when the weird stuff started happening. The first thing I noticed was the bathroom door. It would slowly creak open on its own, just an inch or two, always while I was asleep or out. I figured it was bad framing or the warped floor. Old buildings do that. But then things started escalating. I came home one day to find the bathroom light on. I was sure I'd turned it off that morning. I always did. I had a thing about saving power. I brushed it off. Maybe I was tired, distracted. That night I turned it off again, triple-checked it before bed. Around 2:40 a.m. I woke up. The light was back on. I sat up in bed, heart already racing. The door was cracked open just enough that I could see the light spilling through. I stayed frozen for what felt like forever, just watching it. I finally got up, walked over, turned off the switch, and shut the door tight. It clicked closed. I barely slept the rest of the night. Next day I bought one of those little magnetic child locks you stick at the top of doors. If it opened again, I'd know something was off. That night, it didn't just open. It swung all the way out. The magnetic lock was still intact, but the door was open, wide, and I swear to you, I heard breathing, software ragged, just beyond the threshold. I didn't move, didn't blink, just stood there, staring at the empty bathroom. Nothing there. Or so I thought. I slammed it shut and dragged my desk chair in front of it, sat back on my bed, mind racing. I tried to rationalize it, drafts, faulty latch, maybe the pressure from the heater. But then, the next morning, I found something that made my stomach drop. On the bathroom mirror, drawn in the fogged-up glass, even though no one had showered, was a handprint, child-sized. I stared at it for 10 minutes. I didn't even know what to do. I wiped it clean and told myself it had to be mine. Somehow, maybe from earlier, even though I hadn't touched the mirror, I started keeping the bathroom door closed with a chair in front of it every night, and for a couple days, things calmed down. Until I had a friend over, Lisa. She was crashing on my futon for a few nights while apartment hunting. That night, I woke up to her screaming. I jumped out of bed and flipped on the light. She was sitting bolt upright, pointing at the bathroom door. "The girl," she said. "There was a girl in the mirror." I didn't tell her everything, just said I'd had a few weird nights. She stayed up with me the rest of that night, both of us too scared to sleep. The next day, Lisa moved out. I couldn't blame her. That night, I did something stupid. I left the bathroom door open. I wanted to see it. I don't know why, I just needed to know. I set my phone on the windowsill across the room, hit record. I climbed into bed, lights off, heart pounding. Around 3:11 a.m., I woke up with this overwhelming sense of pressure, like someone was sitting on my chest. I couldn't move, and I heard her, whimpering, from the bathroom, not loud, almost scared. My body finally jerked free. I leapt out of bed and hit the light. No one there. Door open, light off. I rushed to check my phone. The video had stopped recording on its own at 3:08 a.m. right before I woke up. I watched the footage, nothing, until the last few seconds. A tiny shape, barely visible, stepped out of the doorway. Just a shadow, a girl. Pale legs, long tangled hair, and she was facing the camera. I deleted the video immediately. I couldn't sleep, couldn't stay there. I broke the lease the next day, told the landlord it was mold, paid the penalty, moved in with my brother. A few months later, out of morbid curiosity, I looked up the building's history. That apartment used to be a janitor's closet, until 1987, when the owner's daughter was found dead in there. Locked from the inside. The report said she had been missing for 3 days before they found her. They ruled it an accident. No one ever explained how she got locked inside, or why the mirror had the words, "Let me out," scratched into the glass. They remodeled, turned it into a studio.
I've never gone back, never looked up the address again, but every now and then, I wake up at 3:11 a.m. and I swear I hear her, whimpering, right behind the door.